when I was in seminary, there was a guy who was studying with us who was from China. And this Chinese guy was studying as a priest in America in order to go back and serve as a priest in the underground church in China. Because, as you might know, Christianity is being severely persecuted in that country. And so he had to come to the United States and become a priest there in order to go back and serve his people. And I remember talking with him at certain points or overhearing conversations with others and just hearing some of the stories that he would share about the Chinese Catholics that were so heroically living out their faith despite the whole weight of the government being placed upon them to convince them to deny Christ. And it was just incredibly inspiring. And it seemed surreal to imagine that, because we are blessed with freedom to worship here in our country of Canada, and praise God that we do, and pray God that it continues. But to hear about other countries where Christians were being persecuted was a very sobering thing to hear about. And every time I hear this account of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these three Hebrew men who refused to bow down to the idol that the king has set up and are then sentenced to death. They're sentenced to be thrown into the furnace. Every time I think about that, I'm just struck by the fact that in every single generation, in every single country around the world, there are always those who try to oppose the work of God and try to convince followers of God to leave God behind in order to follow some kind of idol, whatever that idol is. And it's across the world, across timelines, across history. The people of God have always been pressured by the world and the powers in it to leave the one true God and follow after idols. And while this is happening all over the world, and we see it happening all over the world, in North Korea, in Syria, in different parts of Africa and India, there's just horrific videos and images of Christians that are suffering for the faith, that are being imprisoned, that are being tortured, that are having their property confiscated, that are going to their deaths for the sake of Jesus. They will not bow down to Islam. They will not bow down to atheism. They will not bow down to Hinduism. Whatever it is, whatever system, whatever government, whatever group of people is persecuting them, they are staying loyal to Jesus. And it's honestly inspiring. But I've never had to do that. We've never had to do that in our country. At least not yet. And I pray to God that persecution like that never happens here in Canada. But as Christians, we have to be ready at all times for persecution. We have to be ready. It's part and parcel of following Jesus. When Jesus was here on earth, he was the most loving, kind, beautiful, holy man that ever lived. He was amazing. And yet people wanted to kill him. They hated him. They wanted him driven out of their town. They wanted him thrown off a cliff. They wanted him stoned. They eventually had him crucified. People hated Jesus. And ever since then, people have hated Christians because they look like Jesus. Now, as Christians, we're not supposed to inspire hatred in people. We show the love, the beauty, the kindness of God. We share the truth of what he says. But because of that, there will always be people that reject it. And that means that sometimes we get rejected as well. And that's okay. It's okay to be rejected. We're not going to be liked by everyone. And that's okay. We don't have to be. We have a Father in heaven who loves us. He doesn't just like us, he loves us. We're his. We are not meant to live on this earth forever. It's not our home. It's passing away. We're heading for heaven. That's where our citizenship is. That's where our homeland is. And so whatever persecutions happen to us in our lifetime, for the sake of Jesus Christ, we count it as a blessing, we count it as a joy. Because we're not here forever. We follow Jesus, who suffered and died, was hated by many, and yet he rose victorious. And the same is true for us. Now again, I say praise God that we live in a country like Canada where we are able to meet and come to church like this. No one harassed you, no one stopped you, no one tried to force you to deny Jesus at work today, at least I hope not. But there are still persecutions happening here. There are absolutely persecutions happening here in Canada towards those who will not deny Christ and what he taught. I was talking with a lady who comes here to this parish, and she converted from a cult to join the Catholic faith, and as a result of that, her entire family has shunned her. They will not speak with her, they will not acknowledge that she's alive. And the joy that she had in sharing this was very moving for me, because I can't imagine what that would be like. And I'm not going to get her words exactly correctly, but she said something like, Jesus is worth it. And that's really beautiful. I know another guy who, when he converted to Catholicism, another guy who comes here to this parish, one of his family members actually assaulted him for becoming Catholic. He was afraid. He was afraid that it would happen again. We think of here in our province, doctors that are being told, if you do not go along with the culture of death, if you do not help people kill themselves through assisted suicide, through MAID, you're going to lose your license. It's going to be revoked. We don't need Christians like you in the profession. What are you willing to give up for Jesus? Where's your line? We have to find the line that we will not cross, because if we don't think ahead of time what we're going to do when persecution comes, we're going to fall. We have to be prepared. And I'm not, ringing alarm bells or saying persecution's coming, you got to get ready, buckle up now. I don't know what the future holds, but I am saying that as part of a Christian life, we have to look within and say to ourselves, what line will I not cross? Where will I draw the line and say, this far and no further? I follow Jesus. Jesus alone is my King. He alone is the one that directs my life. And I will follow him no matter what happens to me. We have to find that peace within ourselves. And when we do, we become free. Jesus comes to bring freedom. We do not live in slavery to fear of what will happen to us. If we look inwardly and say, you know what? If they take my house, if they take my property, if my family abandons me, if people shame me, spit on me, beat me, kill me because of Jesus, if we can get to a place where we're okay with that, there's freedom in that. There's freedom. Because we're not afraid anymore. And the only way that we can have that fearlessness is if we remember who we belong to. We belong to God, the King of the universe, the Lord of all things. He is our Father, and we bow to no idol. We bow to Jesus alone.